Trying to grab the hands.
And again! And another! And another! Charles Oliveira extends his record.
Team has been hit by a Philadelphia freight train. And maybe he is the best fighter we've ever seen. Eddie Hearn seems to think so. And he's just done it. Round one.
I see a lot of people coming out and starting to give Jaron Ennis a lot of crap after that performance that he just put on last night, my friends. All right, we're going to talk about that. And also, who's next for Charles Oliveira? Is it going to be for the BMF title against Max Holloway in March of next year? And did Paddy the Pimlet just lose his big fight? Is Paddy Pimlet's next fight going to be against somebody who's behind him in the rankings? We are going to talk about that, my friends. But let's go ahead and start out with Jaron Ennis. As he defeated Usuma Lima last night, first round KO. Dropped him 2 times. Was going to drop him for the 3rd time, but the referee steps in, stops it. TKO for Jaron Ennis. The Philadelphia arena goes absolutely insane.
He is the best fighter we've ever seen. Eddie Hearn seems to think so. And he's just done it. Round 1. Destruction. Ennis.
That's the statement Jaron Ennis needed to send.
But a lot of mixed emotions from hardcore boxing fans the morning after. A lot of people saying before that was the biggest cherry pick in boxing history. And Usuma Lima might have just exposed that and exposed himself with the performance that he gave us last night. In my opinion, great performance, exactly what you needed to do to make a statement in the 154-pound division. But no more tune-up fights. All right? I respect you, Jaron Ennis, and I respect that you needed that 1 tune-up fight deal. You got it. Even though we didn't really get to see nothing from Jaron Ennis, right? Other than he looked stronger, he looked more full, he looked happier. Right after the fight, they interview him. He gives us a couple names who he wants to fight next. And that's why I say he needs to be fighting one of these champions next, or else a lot of people are going to be giving him crap, because the former IBF, WBA welterweight champion of the world just proved that he did not need tune-ups. He don't need them. All right? Now, he mentioned a couple names. You know, you got Virgil Ortiz, who's the leading candidate, which I don't really think that's going to happen. You know, Eddie Hearn and the promoter and the manager of Virgil Ortiz have been having a lot of problems on social media recently. And I totally agree. Eddie Hearn's been coming out saying contracts have been signed when there have been no contracts. Virgil Ortiz and his manager have made it clear they have no understanding of anything that Eddie Hearn is saying. And I actually think this might play a bad role in them trying to actually set up a fight. Now, he did mention Sebastian Fundora. He mentioned Xander Zayas, your WBO super welterweight champion of the world. Sebastian Fundora, WBC. He also mentioned Bakram, your IBS super welterweight champion of the world. But there's one person that he didn't notice, who I honestly think might just be Jaron Ennis' next fight, due to Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, and, you know, just them having a tough time making fights for their big fighters. Okay? Abbas Baru just got elevated to your WBA super welterweight champion of the world after Terrence Bud Crawford, the former WBA champion, moved up to the 168-pound division and vacated his bouts. Okay, Abbas gets elevated, and all of a sudden, he may just be the easiest route to a title. You know, Jaron Ennis just became your WBA interim super welterweight champion. Abbas, WBA full welterweight champion. And this is a fight that could actually happen. Now, I've already seen hardcore boxing fans say, you better not come and fight Baru. You better give us one of these big fights. But at the end of the day, it is not just Virgil Ortiz, not just Jaron Ennis. Even if he wants these fights, it's also about Eddie Hearn and him making the right moves. Now, it was an absolutely fantastic victory from Ennis, but I completely agree when there should not be no more tune-up fights going on with you, Boots. Your next fight should be against a world champion or somebody that the boxing world knows who isn't a champion, like Virgil Ortiz, okay? Israel Madrimov, somebody like that at least, man. All right. Now I want to talk about Charles the Bronx Oliveira. Absolutely walking down. Didn't even have to use his wrestling, right? Didn't even have to do anything like that. He was walking down Mateus Gamrot, which forced Mateus Gamrot into getting submitted like that. Mateus Gamrot came on a 2.5 week notice. I completely understand, but his striking was absolutely horrible. I mean, horrible. No power behind his punches, and as soon as he noticed that, Charles the Bronx started walking him down, coming forward. Got the second round sub, being the first guy to ever finish Mateus Gamrot, which is absolutely amazing. This is the guy who beat Arman Tsutsukian back in the days. And Charles Oliveira just made it look absolutely easy. Okay, after the fight, and he does it in his hometown, which is absolutely amazing to see. I put him up there now with being the GOAT, and if not the GOAT, at least top 3 greatest Brazilians in UFC history, right? You got Jose Aldo, you got Anderson the Spider Silva, but still, man, Charles Oliveira is the pride of Brazil when it comes to it, okay? After the fight, he calls out Max Holloway for the BMF title, okay?
Hey Hunter, Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway, BMF. Vamos fazer acontecer essa. Hey Hunter.
While this was going on, Max Holloway was live on Kick, talking about the fight, saying, you know what? I'll fight you, brother, but we ain't fighting in Brazil. It's going to be on my terms, and it's going to be sometime in March. All right? And Charles Oliveira agrees to it, which I absolutely love. Imagine Max Holloway versus Charles the Bronx Oliveira for the BMF title, a rematch. Okay, a rematch where Max Holloway won the last time. But if you don't remember, Charles Oliveira was sick going into that match. Sore throat, everything was wrong with him. Okay? So this would be a completely different match. Of course, Charles Oliveira is on a whole different level now. Max Holloway also well established in the UFC, the BMF champion of the world. Okay? Just beat Dustin Poirier in his hometown. Absolutely amazing fight. I love it all. But there's one person that I feel like who won't love this. And that's Paddy Pimblett. Okay, when you look at the UFC rankings in the lightweight division, I don't know why they still got this fighter ranked number 1, because we all know who's moving up to the welterweight division. But Islam Makhachev number 1, Arman Tsutsukian number 2. Okay, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, and then who's behind them all? Ranked number 7, who I think is the odd man out now, Paddy Pimblett. So we all know Justin Gaethje has a possible fight with Ilia Poirier in January. Dan Hooker is faming Arman Tsutsukian, and now Charles Oliveira just set up his own fight with Max Holloway? What? And just like that, Paddy Pimblett's out of a fight. Now the question is, what is actually going to happen? I've been seeing talks of maybe the reason why they haven't officially announced Ilia Poirier versus Justin Gaethje is because they are waiting. It is possible that if Arman Tsutsukian beats Dan Hooker in an absolutely fantastic way, maybe they're going to put Arman Tsutsukian against Ilia Poirier in January and actually make Justin Gaethje fight Paddy Pimblett, which I absolutely love. But at the same time, we all seen Justin Gaethje already said he ain't fighting him. He'd rather retire than fight Paddy Pimblett. So that's just a maybe. All right? Is it possible that the winners out of Arman Tsutsukian versus Dan Hooker will be taking on Paddy Pimblett next? And the winners out of them is going to get a title shot out of the winners of Ilia Poirier and Justin Gaethje in January, a couple months after that? It is very, very possible, bro. I absolutely love it, man. I absolutely love it. You know, congratulations to Charles Oliveira for proving to the world once again why he's one of the best lightweights in the division. All right? He just came out of a knockout loss against Ilia Poirier and came in here and looked fresh as hell. And it was amazing to see. Deiveson Figueiredo, your former UFC flyweight world champion, the underdog, going in there against Montel Jackson, absolutely got it done. Montel Jackson not throwing his hands at all, looking like he was gun shy. In my opinion, lost this fight himself. But it was amazing to see Deiveson Figueiredo cry in the ring. He looked absolutely happy that he's finally got a victory in him again. Of course, he's moved up to the bantamweight division, had 3 wins in a row, but his last 2 fights have been pretty rough. Coming off that injury loss to Corey Sandhagen, this was amazing to see, especially in his hometown. Now, the retirement video for Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo came out during UFC Rio, and they had the special retirement thing for him. He retired in Brazil, put his goddamn gloves in the middle of the cage, and the crowd went crazy. Jose Aldo, one of the greatest UFC fighters to ever do it, and one of the guys who held down Brazil harder than anybody.